My name is Robin Jerry Small. I'm a program on 93 FM. It's Straight Up.
All right, good.
The public affairs program, Monday to Friday between 9 and midday.
Good. So what does this conference mean to you, and what compelled you to attend?
Well, it's another opportunity to get together with African-minded people, especially the Maroons, who is the first independent people in Jamaica since the indigenous people were wiped out. I've been on the air up to yesterday, so this is my first opportunity to get away.
Right.
I've been here a couple of hours, not really not activity going on much, but I've been savoring the whole thing, the scene and the food and things, waiting for some time. But I'm not disappointed, even though I know that one of our things that left to be done is for us to follow schedules and in the first place conceive realistic schedules that don't have to be adjusted to
and disrupted.
Yet it's not a sin.
Yes. What do you think the future of the Maroon community is now that we're at this point in the history and evolution of the Maroon community?
Well, I'm not as up to date. I usually travel around the island weekly and so on. Every part of the island. I'm not up to date as to the latest strands of activity and influence in the Maroon community. So I wouldn't meaningfully be able to tell you what I expect.
Right.
So whatever I say now, we're just hopeful and wishful thinking.
Yes. Well,
I expect,
first it was flight from the plantations, and it was, liberation.
Yeah, man.
Then they set themselves up as an independent, self-sustaining community.
Yeah.
And now in the contemporary time, they seem to be somewhat looking for, a new vision of the future.
Well, what I mean between it, this stage that you said, how they set themselves up, was followed by another vital stage. After they set themselves up as an independent community, they achieve recognition as such.
Yes.
So you set yourself up.
Right.
But the people who are opposing that finally have to be convinced. They were convinced through warfare, and therefore they ceded to a treaty.
Yes.
A treaty can only be engaged in by equal partners. Therefore, I know that they were equal status to Britain, to English colonialists, and therefore they were independent people. It has been gradually eroded over the centuries by compromise and by trickery, taking away their rights little by little. One of the last things that is threatening them is to build a major highway through the middle of cockpit country. Now, because the economic situation of the whole island and the whole people is so low, even lately I have a lot of Maroons in the cockpit country welcoming this idea, say, boy, a long time them don't get any work. We could say, who is me or you to say, no, leave the work alone and keep your pride and keep your territory. Although we know that would be the desirable thing for us. There are some of them, they're pragmatic on the ground, so boy, we want the work.
Yes.
But as I said, I only talk about that incident to show how gradually their integrity, the integrity of their territory has been eroded.
And compromised.
One mechanism in that over the years, from the 50 years of Jamaica's independence, is for each one of the major political parties to penetrate the Maroon community and eventually appoint a Maroon colonel from this community or that community as a senator, and gradually get them into one of the two major parties and gradually make them substitute that status for their true autonomy. But these methods, gradually the Maroon autonomy has been eroded. Well, I hope that maybe sometimes these things is for good. But when they are brought back down to almost the status of the non-free Jamaicans, it can cause a cross-fertilization where their experiences now can more even inspire the ordinary Jamaican to take control of Jamaica, which they have never had. Because in '62, it was not handed over to the people of Jamaica, it was handed over to the trustees of the Europeans, the two political parties. So I know that independence is just being shaped in Jamaica. So by this erosion, it can bring about a cross-fertilization. We have common objectives of them now to re-establish or for the first time establish. So you see how it works.
I think you have answered the question I asked earlier, which was, what's the next phase? I think you kind of hinted at it there. All right, finally, this 50th anniversary celebration, now that you've kind of brought that up, what's the significance of that in your mind, if any?
What it really is, different from the significance, what it really is both of the Jamaica has been highly tribalized in the last 50 years. by the two political parties. Tribalized to the point that a criminal industry, international criminal industry has grown from strength to strength under the incubation of these two parties. So now the 50th anniversary really worked out to be adjusting between the two parties to establish that each one of them was the main achiever for Jamaica and not the other one. And in the meantime now, the baby, they are trying to wash themselves, image clean. And then the baby in the mix now. And then both throwing away the bad water. But the baby, which is really the Jamaican people, future and the youth, in danger of being thrown out to the bad water. There's a celebration about. That's why the festival song, the so-called 50 song, is so controversial. It's highly symbolic and very appropriate for this controversy. It shows how much their main interest is to highlight their both sides and not really for the Jamaican people. But at the same time, I'm not downhearted.
Yes, you're optimistic.
Yes, I'm not downhearted because people are learning more and more every day.
Right.
From these what do you call it again?
Machinations.
Machinations. That's exactly. It's like a real one. Machinations between these.
Yes. Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
We'll talk more.